Hi, how are you doing today? I and my buddy Joe English are sending our regards. So, Joe, what do you think we should be doing today? Really? All right. Joe says we should be revising some prep notes for the ACT test, since some of the learners might be thinking of or might be sitting for the ACT test. So, without further ado, let's share the PowerPoint. All right, so this is Chippendale's Annie Kaja Chippendale, PhD, and it's called English Success on the ACT. You know, um, I think these prep notes are very useful for American diploma students thinking of sitting for the ACT test. So I'm going to share with you some of these prep notes, okay, and that I think uh, will be of great help to you. Remember that you have to do 75 in the English section of the test. You have to do 75 questions in 45 minutes. So let's be doing some exercises, and let's be commenting on some important notes for you to take into consideration while doing the ACT test. So here says always pick the shortest answer. So wordiness is not something much appreciated in the ACT test. If you have more than one answer and more or less they are the same in meaning, so always go for the shortest one. So here, Ms. Komiyama moved to her house in 1948 when she had reached the age of 18 years old. So should we keep it, no change, or should we choose B or C or D? Well, the best answer is D, because she was 18 years old is shorter than the rest and it has the same meaning as the underlined version. So the correct answer is D. All right, another question. In both these cases, Grant recognized a need and focused his skills, imagination, and intelligence for blah, blah, blah. Is it no change? He recognized a need or a lack of something, or that a need was in existence, or that blah, blah, blah. So all these things more or less is equal in meaning to need. So need is the shortest answer. So A, no change, is the correct answer. If we look at exercise 3, during World War II, the United States and Canadian governments, whose countries border each other, unjustly relocated many people of Japanese descent. Well, no change. Governments who share a national border, C, governments, blah, 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 or D, governments. We should go for governments because this is the shortest answer. Okay, so D is the short answer, the shortest answer and the correct one. To have a rebirth, rebirth. Okay, so life and rebirth. So rebirth is the shortest answer here as well. Okay, always read the omit the underlined portion option first, omitting the part that is underlined. If it's correct and makes sense, select that option and go on. Okay, so even astronauts orbiting the Earth chew sugar-free bubble gum while in orbit. So he says astronauts, you know, and while in orbit, because they are astronauts, they go on orbit. So there's no need to repeat this piece of information. So D, omit the underlined portion, is the correct answer. Look at this uh, example, all right, or exercise. If you corroded beneath their coppery surfaces had been tarnished, blended with the soil. No change where tarnished, had been tarnished, or pitted and tarnished. Should we omit it? So if we look at pitted and then we have coordinating conjunction and, so pitted goes with tarnished. So this is the correct answer. J, omit the underlined portion. Okay, how about this one? Each species being a different size, shape, color, and so on. So we say has. Okay? Yes, instead of being. Okay. What is the best word choice question here says alligators can go through. Some certain questions in the exam, some questions ask you to choose the uh, best choice in words, like the word that uh, you know better or best expresses this idea or that idea. And maybe all of them are near synonyms, but one word can express the idea pretty well because of a certain aspect or a certain aspect of the meaning of that word. So we should choose the word that best carries the meaning that the writer wants to convey. Look at this example. Alligators can go through water, blah, blah, blah. So go equals proceed equals streak equals advance. Which choice would most dramatically achieve the effect? So most dramatically show that fast movement. So this would be C, streak. Streak meaning move very fast. So here C is the correct answer. If we look at another exercise like this one, I stare into the mirror at myself and add the mound of long black braids. Beautiful, Renee proclaims, just like Janet Jackson. So, if we want to, which choice effectively emphasize the sense of approval in Renee's statement? Should we remain the same, proclaims, or should we say verbalize, comments, remarks? All these are equal, but the word proclaim would best achieve that effect. So no change is the best answer. No change. Proclaims is the best word or verb that shows how Renee approves or sense of approval for Jeanette and her braids and how beautiful she is and so on. And then he says in 1970, blah, 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 types of cloth. And then here in the choices, clothing, including sandals, bell bottom pants, blah, blah, blah. The other one, clothing that was inappropriate. D, clothing that is permitted, blah, blah, blah. So I think C is the one that mentions specific kinds of clothes. Here he says, would best illustrate the term dress code. So since he mentions very specific examples of cloth that need or need not be dressed in that school or in accordance or as per the dress code, so C would be the best answer. Don't forget, whenever you see the word illustrate example in the question, look for specific details or examples, because this is the best way. Specific details are the best way to illustrate. Okay? All right. Okay. We observe thunderstorms over Stampede Pass, Cascade Range, or into Hell's Canyon, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so we observe. Which choice would most effectively emphasize the energy that are essential part of the work of uh, smoke jumping. Okay. Would it be observe or follow or attend or chase? I think chase would achieve that effect. Chase, letter J. Okay, so J is the correct answer. If we look at this exercise, I'm not talking about imaginary creatures, but about deliciously real moral mushrooms, funny looking, textured, edible fungi that appear, etc., etc. So, given all the choices are true, that all the choices are true, which one most specifically describes the appearance of a moral mushroom for readers who have never seen one? Should we say odorless and unusually shaped, earthy, oddly amusing, interesting looking, or sand colored, cone shaped, sponge like? Well, so the last one, sand colored, cone shaped, sponge like, because they give specific details about this kind of mushroom. So if you have never seen it before, you have a better idea. You can imagine in your head how it looks like. All right, let's move to another exercise. It's clear that popcorn has been given a permanent role in the modern American diet. Which choice best emphasized the writer's belief that America's interest in popcorn will continue into the future? Well, an early role, a genuine position, a reasonable purpose, or the first one, no change. I think permanent would mean that this would continue to be in the future as well. So A is the best choice. No change. Okay. All right. All right. Let's have a look at another part. Take care of. Pay attention that not all the questions ask you to find the best answer, but sometimes they ask you what is the least acceptable answer or what answer would not be correct. In this case, beware that he's asking about the incorrect answer, not the correct or the most appropriate answer. For example, it's pleasant to see vacationers enjoying my home so much. What choice would be the least acceptable here? So remember, some questions ask you about the least appropriate or some answer that would be incorrect if you choose it. So enjoy here would be the answer because it has nothing to do with the meaning of see. Notice means more or less related to see, observe, watch, but enjoy has nothing to do with seeing vacationers. Okay, how about this one? Last week, some fellow passengers and I watched an elderly man with a portable chess board playing chess against himself. Which of the following alternatives would not be acceptable? Okay, so some fellow passengers and I watched an elderly man playing chess. Who played, as he played chess, or who was playing? What do you think is the best answer here? Not acceptable, would not be acceptable, played. Okay, so this one would not be acceptable. All right. How about this one? The least necessary and could therefore be deleted. All right, she worked for 30 years as a teacher and librarian in the field of education in Baltimore public schools. Okay, so 30 and librarian in the field of education, Baltimore. The least necessary and can be deleted, I think, is in the field of education. Because if you say a teacher and librarian, this is somehow related to education. So we don't need to repeat this piece of information one more time. Remember, you don't have to repeat the idea more than once for readers to understand. Also, remember that wordiness is not something appreciated in the ACT standardized test. So always go for the simpler answer or for the shorter answer if you have one. So that's it for now, and we would be talking about the ACT test and how to prep for it and doing some exercises together in some other videos. So bye for now.